Today, most developed countries have abolished the death penalty, but in 2024, only 2 nations in the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development still carry out capital punishment: the United States and Japan. The difference is that the United States has remained relatively open about how it uses capital punishment, while Japan has kept its system hidden for decades. It was not until 2010 that the world finally saw the dark design behind Japan's death penalty procedures: the hidden system. On July 26, 2022, Tomohiro Kato sits inside a cell at the Tokyo Detention Center. 14 years earlier, he killed 7 people and injured 10. In 2011, he was sentenced to death. Every morning he wakes up at 7 a.m. and every night he goes to sleep at 9 p.m. in a cell no bigger than 4 tatami mats. He has a sink, a toilet, bedding, and a small desk. In Japan, death row prisoners often wait decades for execution, but unlike the US, they do not know when the execution will happen. Any random morning, guards may appear and escort them to the execution chamber. They are told only a few hours before. The Japanese government claims this prevents mental breakdowns and reduces the risk of suicide. Some say this is justice. Victims also received no warning. Others say it is deeply cruel. For 34 years, a man named Menda Sakae woke up every single morning, terrified it might be his last. In 1983, he was finally released after it was revealed the police officer on his case had hidden an alibi proving Sakae was innocent. More than 12,000 mornings filled with the fear of execution, all unjust. In 2014, Iwao Hakamada was also freed and granted a retrial after evidence was suspected to be falsified. He became the longest-serving death row inmate in the world, spending more than 45 years behind bars, not knowing when he would die. Kato sits in his cell, surrounded by rounded furniture designed so prisoners cannot harm themselves. On July 26, 2022, after waiting 14 years, he hears more footsteps and voices than usual outside his door. Japan's strange position. Although most advanced countries have banned capital punishment, Japan remains committed to it, and in a uniquely harsh way. In the United States, many states have eliminated the death penalty. America is a federal system, so laws differ widely. Japan, by contrast, is centralized, and polls show clear public support for capital punishment. The US death penalty is closely tied to its history of racial discrimination and slavery. Japan is ethnically uniform and has less social inequality. Across Europe, when authoritarian regimes fell, including Hitler, Mussolini, and Franco, their countries abolished the death penalty soon after. Japan's authoritarian wartime government collapsed too, yet the death penalty survived. Austria, Britain, and France all abolished it after left-leaning governments came to power. Japan elected a center-left party in 2009, but nothing changed. What makes Japan even more unusual is that its homicide rate is extremely low, far lower than America's, and lower than most European countries that have already ended capital punishment. Still, the percentage of murder cases that lead to death sentences in Japan and the US is roughly the same. In 2018, Japan executed 15 prisoners. The country had around 106 inmates on death row compared to the US, which had more than 10 times that number but executed fewer people. 7 of those 15 were members of the Aum Shinrikyo doomsday cult, executed together on a single morning. How trials work differently. In the US, capital punishment requires a 2-stage trial. One trial decides guilt and another decides punishment. Both require a unanimous jury. Japan works differently. Under the Saibanin system, citizens sit with professional judges. A simple majority is enough to impose the death sentence. This means 5 judges can vote guilty and for the death penalty, while the other 4 judges may believe the defendant is innocent, and the prisoner can still receive a death sentence. Japan has 7 detention centers where executions occur. The justice minister decides the timing. 5 days after signing the death warrant, the execution is carried out. These decisions are often signed right before political recess to minimize media attention. Families and lawyers are not warned ahead of time. They are informed after the execution has taken place. Kato is brought to a prayer room where a spiritual advisor reads final rites. He can write a will, eat a snack, or smoke a cigarette. Then he is taken to a small room with a religious altar, Buddhist or Christian depending on the inmate. There the prison warden reads the official execution order. The last thing Kato sees is a curtain covering the next chamber. Guards blindfold him with a white cloth, place a black hood over his head, handcuff his wrists behind him, and tie his legs at the knees. Then they guide him into the final room. Japan uses hanging as the only execution method. In the center of the chamber is a trapdoor controlled from an adjacent room. 3 officers enter the control room and face 3 identical buttons. 2 do nothing. 1 opens the trapdoor. None of them know who pressed the real switch. After the execution, a medical officer waits 5 minutes before confirming death. The body is cleaned, then the family is notified. If unclaimed, the remains are cremated. In some high-profile cases, the ashes stay with the state. Until 2007, Japan didn't even release the names of executed prisoners. Today, around 106 inmates are waiting for execution in Japan. The most recent prisoner executed killed 36 people in an arson attack. Tomohiro Kato was the last person put to death in the country.